welcome to Knickknack's Corner. I'm Nick. This is Jake, wearing our wizarding robes and a cloak. Today, we're just gonna do a little bit of Q&A with each other, and also I was just gonna give you guys an update that I will be making videos for every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Hopefully, I got this new job I went for, and I won't be available on weekends. So I'm just going to do 3 days a week, and I'm going to try and structure my videos a little bit better than I previously have been. I've been going off the cuff and off of memory, so I'll do, with this extra time, I'll do a little bit more research and also refresh my memory a little bit more and have it not quite scripted, but it'll be like some bullet points more than what I've been doing. So to start this off, Mr. Jacob Kenny, what's your favorite genre of books?
I like a little bit of everything, but definitely my favorite's fantasy. That's like my easy reading genre. Like, I'll do biographies, I'll do memoirs, I'll do a little bit of both nonfiction and fiction, but fantasy is like, that's my go-to for just easy reading, enjoying the story.
Me too. I am totally all about fantasy. Love it. Actually, this gentleman here started me off in fantasy altogether, and it's been a wild ride ever since. I read everything as well, from true crime to nonfiction, fiction, biography, fantasy, horror. I like thrillers and mysteries as well. So, and you know what? The odd romance, if it's good, fine. But other than that, I'm an easy book to please. What has been your favorite books you've read so far?
Some of my favorites off the top of my head, I mean, of course, Lord of the Rings. I just started Wheel of Time. I'm not quite done Eye of the World yet, but it's making a very good first impression. Excited to finish off Eye of the World and dig into the rest of the books. Some of my recent favorites is Dark Days, Randy Bly, lead singer of Flame of God. That is a memoir, and yes, he's a musician, but he's a very good writer. I really enjoyed his writing style.
Excellent.
That was a really good read.
What other books have you read in the past 2 years?
Past 2 years, I did The Greatest Show on Earth. That was a good one. Nonfiction.
Didn't you do Guns, Germs?
Guns, Germs, and Steel. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
That one I found, like, it was a really interesting topic, but the read itself was very dry.
Okay, so more of a textbook than
Well,
okay. Like it's something you would
it's
chop
a
up for
theory
teaching.
that he's aiming to prove through the book. So
Okay, so it's
yeah,
more like a
so
thesis?
it's like, yeah, it's like Guns, Germs, and Steel. It's his like theory of why Europeans kind of conquered the world, so to speak, and hence the name Guns, Germs, and Steel. But it's like, why didn't like native Australians, develop the printing press and like these new technologies and
basically
sail
how
to
the
like almost every corner of the earth. and all that
basically
kind of
how the
stuff.
Industrial Revolution
Mhm.
came about.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
But it starts further back than that. It starts right back with like the advent of farming,
Cool.
and like all that, and then how that led to impact the development of different cultures and societies in different places in the world.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting topic, but the presentation of the information is very dry. I find it's like, this is why I think this, and this is the 10 reasons why I think this. And then it's like, I could have done with like a glaze over, rather than like a detailed explanation of all of those 10 reasons.
Cool. Two of the books I'm currently working on is Liza Locke Lamora, Gentleman Bastard series. The Great Hunt, which is Wheel of Time. I was the one who got Jake into Wheel of Time. Recommended it to him mostly because we're both huge Tolkien fans, and Robert Jordan is sort of writing this love letter to Tolkien almost in the story. Like it's separate on its own, but it's also got the same sort of formula that goes along with it. I gotta say, the book I was most impressed about this year that I read was The Sisters Brothers. It was a crazy ride. It's about two brothers who are just... One is an alcoholic who needs morphine to get through his next day. And the other is kind of almost a simpleton, but, very kind-hearted murderer. But it's an interesting story. It's funny. It really hooked me the entire way, and I was really surprised by it because my dad gave it to me a few years back, and he's like, "You should read this. It's really good." And I went, okay. I'll read it when I get around to reading it, and I did, and I wish I read it sooner. It was awesome. So the books I'm most anticipated for, getting into, is definitely going to be The Way of Kings. I'm waiting until I get to book 4 of Wheel Time. I'm going to take a Wheel Time break, and I'm going to hit Stormlight Archive and do the 2 books, and if the 3rd book is out, I'll get the 3rd book and read that as well. Hoping that I can get into those, because I hear Brandon Sanderson is a fantastic author. I really want to get into more of his stuff. He also did the Mistborn series, which is quite popular among the fantasy crowd. Yeah. What book are you most anticipated to reading in the near future?
I kind of already touched on that, digging into more of the Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
That's the big one right now. I was debating rereading A Song of Ice and Fire. I might dig into that again because I enjoyed it so much the first run through.
It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so far I've only read that once.
Yeah, I've only read it once, but I've gone back over chapters multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty big into learning all the different theories out there of what's gonna happen and stuff like that in the books, because forget the shows, there's so much going on in the books. You got Blackfire rebellions, you got umpteen different kings and queens trying to rule the Iron Throne, and they come and go in the flash, and the whole story is just, you don't know where it's really going to go, even though the show kind of led us in a direction. I'm still kind of interested to see how that goes, because with all of these extra characters, I can't foresee it ending the same way.
Oh, definitely not going to end the same way.
Yeah.
I think I'm hoping there'll be some similarities. So I'm hoping the show isn't way off in left field, although it's possible that it is, and that it's going to play out completely different.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they stayed relatively true to Martin's vision and didn't go way off on their own with it.
Indeed. Who got you into reading Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings was the movies.
Oh,
When
yeah?
the movies first came out.
Excellent.
I watched the movies, loved them, found out it was a book, and I was like, why the hell has nobody told me about this book? Because it's awesome. And I just devoured them, loved them.
Excellent. Who got you into Song of Ice and Fire?
Some Fire. I think that might have been you, actually. That was a while
Might
ago
have been
now.
when we were living together.
Yeah, that was a little while ago now.
Yeah,
I think it was you that got me into that.
I think so. Yeah. What genre of book would most surprise you to enjoy, if you've ever read one, and then was surprised you liked it?
What would surprise me? I think probably true crime and mystery, that kind of thing. I generally steer away from that. I do fantasy, sci-fi, a few non-fiction genres, but generally I tend to go either fantasy or non-fiction.
Dig into some mystery.
Mm-hmm.
You'll like some good mystery. Dennis Lehane good author. He does some very interesting. He did like Gone Girl. He did Shutter Island, which was a fantastic read. I read it before I saw the movie, and it was just perfect. And he also did Mystic River, which were all fantastic books that also all turned into movies.
I'd like to read Shutter Island.
It's really good. I got it over there. You can borrow it.
Oh, thanks.
So I think that'll conclude our little bit of Q&A talking. Do you have any questions for me? Literature, books, things like that?
If you could recommend one book, even if you know I've read it already, but just if you could recommend one book to read, we'll say Tolkien aside, because it's a little too obvious, but what would be your one major book recommendation?
Liza Locke-Lamore. Or
I'll have to give that one a read.
The Blade itself, Joe Abercrombie. Both these books, well, this book here, when I read it, it surprised me very much of how much I enjoyed it. The first 3 chapters, I was sitting there going like, it's so character driven, I don't know if I'm going to care about it that much. Because it's just character driven, no plot. But the plot gets intertwined with the characters. And you love the characters, and they're all terrible people. It's fantastic. So that one would be one that I would definitely recommend, highly recommend, especially if you're into fantasy and you haven't read it yet. It's an easy read. It's awesome. It's really good. This one's a little bit more adult, and this is still adult, but the way that Scott Lynch writes is poetic in a sense. It's a different voice. It's a very different voice from what you've read before. And he's fantastic with it. Like, when you go through this, I'm only like 3 chapters in the prologue in. The chapters in prologue are long. They're like 50 pages piece. It's fantastic. It's really fun. You kind of already can see, like, I'm already more into this than I was into this in the same distance. And I'm about as far as into this as I was getting into this. It was something that surprised me. It's really enjoyable. I really love the character Locke-Lamore in this. He's a misfit when he starts out, and he's just kind of like working his way up the gang chain. And it's fun. I'm excited to see where it goes. I got the other 2 books for my anniversary present, so I'm just excited to get into them and like follow them. Any other questions?
No, off the top of my head.
Excellent. Well, guys, that'll be everything for today. So remember, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, look out for my videos, because that's when they're going to be posted. Please like and subscribe. I'll have my Goodreads, Instagram, Tumblr down below, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.